Dora and Boots are at the train station to see the train. On their visit, it was very quiet at first until Dora and Boots saw a large green train coming. Dora and Boots were excited to see a train coming. They loved trains so much that they chugged like one, and Boots said that he loved trains blowing their whistles and figured they could make the green train blow his whistle. They said, "Choo choo," but the green train didn't hear. So Dora and Boots, had me help out by whistling louder, and the green train heard them, and he whistled happily to them. Then Dora and Boots saw a big red train and decided to make her blow her whistle too. They said choo choo, but the big red train didn't hear either. So Dora and Boots made me whistle harder. They also whistled louder, and the medium red train heard them, and she whistled happily to them too. And then a little blue train named Azul arrived, but he was chugging sadly and slowly along. Dora and Boots whistled happily, but nothing happened. The red and green trains had whistles, but Azul, the blue train, did not. Val the octopus then makes an announcement through the speaker saying that there is a big train race today. She also mentions that the first train to cross the finish line at Big Yellow Station wins a brand new whistle. Dora and Boots told Azul that this is his chance to win the whistle since he didn't have one anyway. But the other train started to make fun of him. Big Green Train said, "Win a whistle, ha 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 ha, that's funny." Big Red Train agreed, and she said, "That's a good one, ha ha ha." Dora and Boots stood up for poor Azul, but the other trains didn't care or listen. Instead, they said they doubted that Azul could win the race and beat them to the Big Yellow Station. Poor Azul felt very sad and very small. But Dora and Boots comforted him by gently placing their hands on Azul's boiler. They volunteered to help him out, and Azul started to have a little confidence in himself. Big Green Train and Big Red Train snickered quietly to each other that Azul didn't know how to get to the Big Yellow Station. Dora asked him if he knew how to get there, but Azul, the blue train, did not know how to get to the Big Yellow Station. Dora and Boots checked the map to find out how to get to the Big Yellow Station. Map says they have to go over a mountain and through a tunnel to get to the Big Yellow Station. Dora and Boots climbed up on Azul, the blue train. Val the octopus calls out to all trains to start their engines. She then said, "On your marks, get set, go," and the race was started. Dora and Boots rode on Azul to the mountain. As they arrived at the mountain, Boots saw how big it was. Azul tries to trundle his way up the mountain, but it was too tall, too big, and too steep. He went slower and slower, and they rolled back down. Dora and Boots gave Azul some encouragement. They cheered for Azul as he trundled his way up the mountain again. He got to the top and rolled down the other side. After that, Dora and Boots get to the tunnel. They arrived at the tunnel, and as they drew nearer and nearer to the tunnel, Dora stops Azul, and he asks why. Dora told him that it is a dark tunnel, and Boots said they will not be able to see where they are going. Azul knew they were right. Dora checks backpack for something they can use in the dark. Backpack had a flashlight, which was just the right tool to help them see in the dark. Dora and Boots entered the tunnel riding Azul, the blue train. Once inside, their voices amplified. Suddenly, they heard another train coming in a different direction on the same track, and it was gray. Dora and Boots had to figure out how to stop the gray train before Azul bumped into him. Dora was about to say that they should blow their whistle. She remembered that Azul doesn't have a whistle. So Dora asked me to be their lookout and see another train coming. Sure enough, I saw another gray train coming in front of them. Dora and Boots had to imitate a train whistle to get the green train to stop. They say, "Choo choo," a couple of times, and sure enough, the gray train applied his brakes and he stopped just in time. Azul, the blue train, had to go through the tunnel. So the gray train backs up while Azul went forward toward the tunnel. Then Azul took Dora and Boots out of the tunnel, and the gray train switched to a different track and waits in a siding. The gray train wanted to know the reason why Azul was going so fast. Azul explains to the gray train that he was in a race to get to the Big Yellow Station and was planning to win a whistle. Azul thanked the gray train for letting him pass, and then he had to get going and make it to the Big Yellow Station. Gray Train was impressed, and then he saw the two other trains race past them. So Dora, Boots, and Azul raced to catch up. Meanwhile, Big Green Train and Big Red Train felt tired out after going too fast. They wanted to take a break, but they didn't want to stop since they were in a race. Then Azul, the blue train, chugs and surpasses the red and green trains, was in the lead and couldn't wait to win. Boots tells Dora that nothing can stop them now, not even Swiper the fox. Dora does not know because Swiper felt pretty and awfully sneaky, so she decides to ask me to look out for him. Swiper was seen behind a rock. We passed him, but Swiper is seen catching up on a pump cart and goes after Dora, Boots, and Azul. Swiper detours into sliding and overtakes them. Swipers now seen swiping the train tracks. Azul the blue train stops as Swiper tosses the train tracks out of sight and rides off. Dora and Boots climb out and had to figure out what shape the tracks were and what color they were. The tracks are square and colored blue. Now they counted how many train tracks Swiper swiped. There were 5 missing train tracks. Then Dora and Boots found some blue squares, and they also see a blue triangle and a green square. They managed to find all the squares that were blue. They counted once more to make sure they had all 5 blue train tracks that are shaped like squares, and they did. After that, each train track gets put back into one place one by one until all the gaps are filled. Now that all the train tracks are put back into place, Azul carried on with the big train race. But Azul was falling behind again. Me, Dora, and Boots then cheered for Azul again. The cheering was working and Azul went faster. Azul went so fast that he gets to the finish line first at the big yellow station and was delighted that he won the big train race. The red and green trains were shocked by this and thought that there must be some mistake. However, there was no mistake at all. Val the octopus announced that Azul was the winner and had won the race fair and square. Val was about to place the new whistle on Azul when Boots warned him that Swiper might try to swipe since he did swipe the tracks before. Sure enough, Swiper peeked out from behind Dora and Boots, then jumped off Azul's back wagon and headed straight for the whistle. Dora, Boots, and Val the octopus stopped him just in time to say, "Swiper, no, swiping," 3 times. Thwarted, Swiper yelled, "Oh man!" Frustration ran away. Val then placed a new whistle on Azul. He gave it a test blow. The whistle worked perfectly. The other trains happily whistled along. He apologized for being mean earlier and became his new friends. Admitting that he was truly fast, Azul felt very pleased, very proud, very happy, very brave. And that was how Dora and Boots helped Azul in the big train race.